Long Island Shrimp Scampi. Some of the ingredients we'll be using today is white wine, half a cup of white wine, dry white wine, a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, about a half a cup of Italian breadcrumbs, about a quarter cup of grated Parmesan, a half a pound of mushrooms, a pound of linguine, one bunch of parsley chopped, about a pound and a half of asparagus for our vegetable, 2 cups of butter, 1 whole shallot, 2 red tomatoes, and about 20 shrimp. Of course, garlic, 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. This is be enough for 4 people. As we get started, we want to make sure we have a safe work area. So we want to take a small portion of a paper towel, wet it, spread it on your work surface, and then place your cutting board on top of that. That'll keep the cutting board from moving. Anytime you're making dinner, you want to prep your vegetables first, before you do your shrimp or chicken or whatever you're doing. Just keep the cutting board from getting dirty and constantly having to clean it. Plus, if you're doing chicken, you have to disinfect it. So we're going to do the mushrooms now, asparagus, and the tomatoes, and have them ready for assembling our scampi. Okay, mushrooms just, sliced up, a 1/4 inch thick or so. They can line them up, and these are easy. One thing about my cooking is if you make a mistake on the size, it's no big deal. I'm not too particular a lot of times. Although we do like to make things look nice and presentable. It's amazing. I've never cut myself since I started doing this like this. I'll do a couple more. My wife likes mushrooms. Sometimes you just got to slow down if you're having trouble with doing things. And I've gotten pretty good over the years, and I can go pretty quick, but when I first started cooking like this, it was kind of frustrating. Okay, let's see. Ooh, these are nice, beautiful vine-ripe tomatoes. And we're going to make it easy on ourselves here. I've got this tomato core. What I have to do is secure it somehow, and just cook that out of there. Makes life easy. And how you cook a tomato is you take and you put a crisscross mark on the bottom. That's why you need a sharp knife. You can see how sharp that is. I'm barely touching it. You don't want to go too deep. You place it in some almost boiling water. And this happens pretty quickly, so you just have to pretty much stay here. You don't want to be going off and doing something, otherwise you will have mashed tomatoes. So these are nice tomatoes. You don't always get them this nice. You can actually use them a little bit on the ripe side, so they have a nice flavor when they're done. If they're too raw, they're going to be just raw tomatoes like anything else. We're so used to eating our vegetables and fruit cold. Really, the best flavors are when they're warm room temperature. Let's see. Just one more moment. Okay, I want to show you this before I take it over to the sink. You can see how it's peeling like here, and it's simply easy to peel. And it's really not, this is coming off so easy, it's not even, I usually run it under cold water, but this is so easy, I'm just going to go ahead and peel it like this. And there you go. Nice. Throw this away. We're going to cut it in half. And put it to the aside for assembling our scampi dish. As long as we're here, let's get the asparagus prepped up. Keep everything clean and safe and dry. Oops, there goes my cooking fluid. Now, I'm sure people have different feelings about asparagus as far as how much you should use. I use about half. That's nice about this size. These are medium asparagus. You can get them a lot thicker and a lot thinner than this. These are about medium asparagus. And then if you want to make a soup, you can save those for some other day. Make asparagus soup. It's great stock. Okay. And there we go. We're going to take those, and when the scampi is in the oven, we will cook those and be ready with the rest of everything else. Okay, the last thing we're going to cut up as far as vegetables is parsley. You can use either the curly parsley or flat leaf Italian parsley. It makes no difference. It's for a garnish and flavor, a little bit of flavor and color. And just all you got to do is take and cut as close as you can together to get as much as you can. This is all we're going to need. So we're not going to worry too much about the stems because I didn't get down to the stems. But the hardest part about this is when you do cut these, there's a lot of stems when you get down to the bottom. And I don't like the stems myself, so I don't put them in. But this is plenty. And all you need again is a rough chop, not too much. And as far as the parsley goes, I rinsed it before I chopped it. In the restaurants, we used to rinse it after we chopped it and then squeeze it out. It was a process and a half. It was a lot of hard work. Some of that is to get the bitterness out of the parsley. But I never believed that myself. You'll get a lot of different opinions when you're cooking, from whoever you work with or where you work. I'm pretty much self-taught, so I didn't get a lot of rules and regulations. Just picked up a lot from different chefs that I work with. Okay, let's put that right over there. Okay, I'm going to clean this off a little bit. Okay, we'll put that over here. My knife over here on my left side. I'm just going to make a little spot here for the shrimp. We have what I think is the best shrimp you can get is a white shrimp. This is from, I believe it's Thailand or Vietnam, one of the two. They're doing a pretty good job farming them now. So usually you find a white shrimp in the Gulf of Mexico, and if you can find a Gulf of Mexico shrimp, buy them, they're the best. A lot of the finer restaurants use them, but it's hard to find them in a grocery store. You'll find mostly tiger prawns, but you'll see these white shrimp are nice and plump. These are U15s, which means there's under 15 to a pound. Before I did this, I rinsed these off, dried them, because being from another country, you got to make sure that you get some of the grime off. You don't know how long it's been handled or where it was handled, so you got to rinse it off a little bit. These are called easy peels. They are slit down the top, and the shell is cut to make it easy to peel. You just peel back the sides. You can leave the tail on, make it easier to grab when you're hungry, when you're eating your dinner, or you can take it off. I like to keep the tail on, and we're just going to place them in our baking pan. I'm going to do about, for 4 people, I'll probably do 4 shrimp a person, 4 or 5. You want to get all the shell out because you don't want to bite into it, and not that it's going to taste bad, but it might get into your teeth and hurt. These should be pretty sharp, these shells. Okay. Usually it's a lot easier to peel them because my daughter does it, but I try to get her to do it. She doesn't like to smell like shrimp for half a day, so. But your animals love it when you do this. There you go. That's that. Okay, let's stop and clean up a little bit before we move on. Okay, first thing we're going to get started on is our scampi sauce. We have to chop up some garlic, and sometimes these are hard to open, so you might have to rip it apart. They also come packaged, so it's very nice and neat. Get scissors over here. Cut open the package. You gotta have nice, sharp scissors, and a sharp knife helps out too. Okay. The peeled garlic works well, better than chopped garlic because it doesn't have the preserve. It's not as good as the whole garlic, you know, but that's very difficult for me to peel and enough garlic to use in a recipe like this. You have to take out some of the bad pieces that you don't need. Okay, start chopping those up. And it's just a rough chop. It doesn't have to be diced or minced, just enough to bring out some flavors. Like a lot of garlic, you can use as much as you want. This is about going to be end up to be like 2 tablespoons. And traditionally, scampi is a garlic recipe. See, you can even do it with olive oil. Okay, next comes the shallots. See how a sharp knife comes in handy. If you had a dull knife, you would not be able to do this. This is a little tricky now. You have to peel them. Sometimes I lose a little bit more than I want to when I'm doing things like this, but that's okay. You just have to live with that. This one's giving me a hard time. There you go. I think I'm just going to use a half of shallot. And just same thing, just a rough chop. With sauces like this, a lot of times I like to make extra and keep in the refrigerator. So if you want to make some garlic bread, which we're going to do today also, you just have that ready to go. Or you want to make scampi again. And half a cup of, it's just 2 cups of butter. And we'll throw that on the oven, on the stove to let it start melting while we do other things. Okay, another cup of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, we're going to put that on the stove to let it melt, and then after it's melted, we'll put the other ingredients, which is the breadcrumbs, the grated Parmesan, white wine, and lemon. You just want to melt the butter, not cook the garlic too much, because it's going to go in the oven with the shrimp and cook more. So you don't want to overcook it. And that's done. That's it. Okay, now that the butter's melted, I've got an olive oil with the garlic. you can add the rest of the ingredients. The grated Parmesan, like I said, about a cup. Italian breadcrumbs, a cup there too. Slip that in. And white wine. This could be optional. This is definitely optional. About a half a cup of that. And there's another thing that I forgot. I need a lemon. I got my lemon. And that can also, later on, I'm just going to do half a lemon. Later on, if I want more lemon, I'll put it on. But it's hard to take out lemon. Okay, this is a nice juicy lemon right here. You don't have to do anything to it, but squeeze it. And there's your Scampi butter sauce. Now we'll set that to the side, and when our shrimp is ready, we will put it together. Now it's ready. We're ready to assemble our baking dish. I've got approximately 15-16 shrimp here, and that's for 4 people, in a 9x13 baking dish. Any kind of baking dish will do, glass, metal, whatever. And we've placed the shrimp in the bottom. Got this clever little thing here that anybody can use. You get your arms pretty strong too, and you just squeeze it. It's cracked black pepper. You want to season your shrimp. Flip it over. A little salt. Not a bad little utensil for us. We're going to add our mushrooms. And just like Emerald says, layers, you got to season every layer. When it cooks, everything will kind of sink down a little bit and mix together. Right now you just want to lay it on the top. I'm going to put a tomato on each corner. Okay. I keep on thinking I'm forgetting something, but I'm not. And now you just mix up your sauce a little bit. This is very popular in Long Island. I learned how to do this, and they do it with scalloped shrimp mainly. And I'm sure there's other ways, but this is one of the popular ways to do it. You got the breadcrumbs and the cheese, give it a texture that's a little bit different than sautéing and baking it. Gives it, really plumps the shrimp up. Now if you need more sauce for your pasta later on, you have some left over, you have more left over, you can just add it. Ooh, there's a couple of chunks of garlic there. There we go. Okay. And that's pretty much it. I need to bring it over to the oven, which I might ask my assistant here to do. And actually, this is not heavy. And anytime you feel like you can't do it, you better call for help. You set the oven at 400, bake for approximately 10 minutes. You'll want to test it. And actually, after about halfway through, we're going to put some more breadcrumbs on the top of the tomatoes. Okay, now we probably want to cook the pasta and the asparagus. Okay, I had somebody help me with this because it's very heavy, very, very heavy. It's about a gallon of water in a pot like this. And the last thing I'll do is fall into a pot of water. Okay, the pasta water's on, but you probably want to get that on before you put your shrimp in the oven, and because you can warm it up and then turn it up higher, because it does take a while to boil that much water, a gallon of water. Okay, we're going to put the pasta in now, and when the shrimp is done, the pasta should be ready, and we'll put it all together. And this is linguine, and I like that it's a nice thicker pasta. And it'll hold the sauce really well. Okay. Make sure you're stirring your pasta within the first couple of minutes because it will stick to the bottom. While your pasta's about halfway done, we can put in the asparagus. It's only going to take about 30 seconds. It's very quick. The asparagus is done. since we have so much butter and oil, I'm just going to leave it like it is. Just blanched a little bit. You can add your salt and pepper if you like. I think our pasta's done. Going to be a little bit freeform here, nothing real fancy. We want to get our pasta sauce on it, make it look nice. You serve yourself, the pasta will get coated with the sauce. A little bit of parsley, grated Parmesan, and that's it. Long Island Scampi, shrimp scampi, and asparagus.